Australia's electric car tax is one step closer to being signed into law here in Australia. We're one of the first places in the world where a country has decided to tax rather than incentivize electric cars, which improve health, actually tax them. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. And I fully disagree with this policy. I've outlined my reasoning why in several videos. I believe that it is utterly ludicrous. Literally thousands of people are dying every year in Australia, thousands and thousands, way more than the car road toll from car pollution. That is a documented fact. It is not some sort of lunacy made up by left-wing people who just want to make up stuff and get all emotional. It is simply a fact. Yeah, there is no health administration, right-wing, left-wing, middle-wing, whatever you want to say, who does not agree with the idea or the fact that pollution from diesel and gasoline, petrol, causes cancer, causes premature death. No one disagrees with that. There's no one coming out saying, even Trump himself isn't saying that that's not the case. That says something, doesn't it? The Australian government has confirmed it is working with states and territories to introduce a road user charge that will affect owners of electric cars. Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers has released a joint statement alongside the Treasurers of Australia's states and territories, providing a rough outline of what a road user charge needs to entail. The rapid development of electric vehicle technology is transforming the outlook for both passenger and freight transport, and policies at all levels of government will need to evolve to seize the opportunities and manage the challenges of this new outlook. I'm not sure how we can seize the opportunities when you're going to tax them. Wouldn't you want to do the opposite if you want to seize the opportunities? Now, I should point out his statement, the rapid development of electric vehicle technology. Yes, rapid development of EV technology is accurate, and rapid sales of EVs in China and Europe is accurate, and in other places, Thailand as well, Nepal. But in Australia, EVs make up less than 10% of all sales. So we're still targeting a niche market, right? I fully agree with these tariffs, taxes, whatever, if electric cars made up, say, 70, 80, 90% of car sales in Australia, where it was the mainstream technology. Okay, put on the taxes then. But taxing a new technology in Australia, when it's basically going to save thousands of lives, in my opinion, is an incredibly bad decision. They went on to say this: reforms to road user charging arrangements for electric vehicles have the potential to bolster productivity through more efficient use of the road network and vehicle fleet, and ensure fair and sustainable funding for road investment and maintenance. Reforms should be designed to not deter the continued take-up of electric vehicles. It's all very contradictory. Reforms should be designed to not deter the continued uptake of electric vehicles. So we're going to tax EVs, make you actually fill out logbooks in order to tax you, which is obviously adding a burden on EV owners, not just the money, but it's actually the job of filling out the logbooks. And they're saying this won't actually deter the continued take-up of electric cars. They also said reforms to road user charging arrangements for electric vehicles have the potential to bolster productivity through more efficient use of the road network and vehicle fleet and ensure fair and sustainable. Anyway, so somehow adding regulations and costs will make it more efficient. The reforms to the treatment of electric vehicles will ensure more equitable treatment across vehicle types and provide certainty to support investment. The design of reforms should be as simple as possible and minimize administration and compliance burden. We will ensure any changes are phased to enable the productivity, climate and consumer benefits of increasing electric vehicle uptake over the coming years. In a separate release, Mr. Chalmers said the Australian government will work with the states and territories and take the time to get the policy development right. In other words, they've just confirmed that they aren't going to do it. The joint statement doesn't appear to say the governments are looking to change the levies imposed on owners of combustion-powered vehicles. So there won't be any changes to, this won't be a universal road user tax. Yeah, this won't be a tax where the government says, okay, everyone will pay a road user tax depending on how much they drive on the roads. It'll just be a road user tax for electric car drivers. A universal mass distance road user charge introduced at a low rate, universal, they're saying it's universal, but universally applicable only to electric cars, would actually serve the role fuel excise is supposed to play, a user pay system proportional to impact. EV drivers don't have a problem with it. We just want an equitable scheme which doesn't discourage EV uptake, said AEVA President Dr. Chris Jones in a statement, arguing that by taking mass into account, it'll prioritize smaller and lighter electric vehicles, and lighter vehicles, regardless of propulsion type. Now, Dr. Chris Jones, I understand you're the president of AEVA, and I've just joined AEVA, but I strongly, strongly disagree with you. Where some have suggested a road user charge could replace the fuel excise, similar to what New Zealand is going to do, Dr. Jones says it should stay. An EV and a diesel vehicle of identical weight and annual mileage should pay the same sum for use of the roads, but the diesel vehicle should pay something extra for the noise, harmful pollution, and greenhouse gas emissions, he said. Fortunately, fuel excise captures that perfectly already. Does it really? Does fuel excise capture that perfectly already? EV uptake in Australia is quite slow. In fact, slower than most countries around the world. But we have access to an incredible number of good quality, in fact, really good quality, affordable electric cars, particularly from China. Access to good Teslas at good prices as well from China. And it's working, apparently, according to the president of AEVA. I don't think it is. And if it was, we wouldn't be seeing thousands of premature deaths every year from pollution from cars in Australia, and EV uptake being pretty slow. Something needs to change. The government isn't really incentivizing electric car purchases. Now, in contrast, Australian Automotive Dealer Association, AADA, the peak body for car dealers in Australia, has called for an equitable national road user charging system which does not discourage the uptake of hybrids and EVs and is done in a technology-neutral manner across all vehicles regardless of powertrain choice. The fuel excise is a flat sales tax levied by the Australian government on petrol and diesel sold at petrol stations. It's currently about 51.5 cents for every litre of fuel purchased and is adjusted in line with inflation. Total revenue from this excise is expected to decline as more efficient vehicles plus electric cars grow in popularity in Australia. Currently, revenue collected via the excise goes into the Australian government's general revenue. Just want to clarify that. It does not go directly into the road construction and maintenance revenue. It just goes into the Australian government's general revenue. And then if they want to use it for whatever they want to use it for, they use it for whatever they want to use it for. It does not go, this has been actually spoken about in the High Court in Australia. It does not go directly into some sort of imaginary road maintenance and road development area. It just goes in, it's just basically government taxation revenue. Remember, the government pays the health bills, yeah? What are our health costs? What are our health costs in Australia for breathing in air that is killing us, causing lung cancer, causing all kinds of illnesses? We want to consider that as part of these numbers here, guys. It's part of the numbers that the government has to pay for this stuff. I know about this myself. Personally, I'm obviously, as you guys know, dealing with a situation where I think pollutants have contributed to her getting cancer. And I can tell you now, the government has had to pay a lot of money. We've paid a lot of money, but the government's paid a lot of money too for us to go through all the treatments. So if you can avoid that situation, in my opinion, it's much better. It's like the concept of this, right? You put an ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, or you put a fence at the top of it. I think putting a fence at the top of the cliff is the better solution, yeah? And this whole idea of being equitable, it's not equitable if EV owners have to go and fill out logbooks and constantly actually report on what they're actually doing. It's actually harder than it sounds. And the reason I say this is because in Victoria, they tried this. In Victoria, they taxed cars until it was taken to court and proven to be illegal. Anyway, they did it in Victoria, and half the owners got massive fines because they didn't correctly fill out the logbooks. So it's not really equitable if you're adding this extra complexity to the situation. So mentioning that as well, it's quite interesting what happened in Victoria. State-based road user taxes on EVs was struck down by a High Court ruling in 2023 when the court found that under Section 90 of the Constitution, only the Commonwealth can impose customs and excise duties. This forced Victoria to close down its taxes on electric cars and refund all charges to owners of EVs and plug-in hybrids. By the way, they were meant to retract all the fines, but it took them about a year to retract the fines from the people who got fines from not correctly filling out their logbooks or not filling them out at all. So guys, I understand this is a controversial issue, but in my opinion, if you want to look at it from simply a factual level, if you're one of those people who's just like, okay, let's analyze the facts, let's not think about emotion. The facts are this: Australia is spending way more on health costs than they are going to make out of these taxes. Way more. The costs, the health costs numbers. I don't think Australians realise the enormous burden this is on our health system, breathing in this air, which is killing us and causing all kinds of health problems for millions of Australians who are sitting in these fumes every single day in traffic. So I think if you actually want to just think about it from a logical perspective, the Australian government would save more money by incentivizing EVs rather than actually putting a tax on them. That's actually the truth. The end game is, if the end game is numbers, wanting more taxation revenue, yeah, you can actually get more revenue by having to put less money out on chronic health problems like cancer that's been caused. Lung cancer, 35% of all lung cancers, the person has never smoked a cigarette in their life. Guess what? Most of them live in cities. Most of them live in cities. They don't live in the countryside where they're not breathing in fumes from the air. They live in dense cities and they're getting lung cancer at record rates. I'm talking record rates. So in my opinion, much better to build that fence at the top of the cliff rather than just stick an ambulance to the bottom and say, well, tax. It's all about taxation revenue. Now, what are your thoughts? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.